So you want an executive assistant that actually checks your calendar, your meetings, your tasks for the day, and all of your documents in order to understand what do you have to do today, and then organizes it by top priority, quick wins, tells you what you have to do in your calendar, checks your capacity because it knows how much time you have available and how do you work, and gives you an energy plan and a heads up and a bunch of other cool things. Well, you're in luck because I created this AI executive assistant and I'm giving it to you literally for free. All you have to do is go to this repository, and if you're here, you probably got this link somewhere by signing up to the email, or maybe I sent it to you, or maybe you got it in a video. You're basically getting this email, this link right here, and you're getting onto this page. Now on this page, don't be too scared if you're not that technical. This tutorial is going to be for non-technical people, but on this page, it's basically going to be very clear what you're getting in this AI executive assistant. It's an AI executive assistant that works with Claude Code. If you're not familiar with Claude Code, I don't know what you're doing, but maybe I'll make a tutorial for you if you cannot find another 100 tutorials out there online. But basically what you have to do is you have to install Claude Code because this is built with Claude Code. And then all you have to do is get this link, like it's saying here in the description, and tell your Claude Code to clone and install this for me. So I'm going to do that right now. And in the meantime, I will explain everything that's happening over here. So all you have to do is you can either go here, take this link, or go here and take this link. And for this purposes of this tutorial, we're actually going to do it from our Claude Code application. Obviously, you can use your VS Code, or you can use your terminal. If you know how to do that, that's already great. But we're going to use this application, the Claude Code app, for you in order to see how easy it is. So all we have to do is, like, you tell it, clone and install this for me, and then it's starting is this combobulating and flibber thing or whatever else it's doing. We're gonna have to give it like, yeah, sure, allow. I'm gonna click allow a couple of times. It's going to clone this, and while it's doing all of that, we're going to actually tell you everything that you get here. So what you get are a list of commands. These commands are very simple. It starts with a simple command, which you're basically talking to your EA, right? So you just type /EA and you start to talk with your EA as you're talking to your actual employee. And before you do that, for the first time, you'll actually have to do like an EA setup. So in order to personalize your EA, so it understands your working style, who you are, what tools it has access to, and what are your personal preferences, you can put all of that in there. And besides that, then there's like about 11 commands that are to help her schedule your day, for example, and do other things for your day, starting with the morning brief. This for me is like one of the most important things. Start your day with an energy optimized plan. I just go in and I type this command every morning and I get the result that tells me everything about my day. It's something like this, like I've showed you in the beginning. It goes and it does all of these things. It reads these documents, pulls my tasks from Notion, it analyzes them and builds a daily plan that's actually like this. And based on this, I can actually chat with her, and then she can also push them to my calendar. Besides this main thing that I say, the morning brief, you can check in. I usually check in the afternoon to tell her, hey, where am I at? What have I been doing? And for her to do some other things. The nightly cleanup at the end of the day, I end the day. I don't always do this, just to be fair, but hey, it would be great for you to have a nightly cleanup in order to prepare the day for tomorrow. Once a week, I do the weekly plan. Once a week, also, I do the weekly retrospective when I'm looking back and noticing like, hey, what have I done? What I haven't done? What are some hidden patterns? How fast have I been moving with my tasks, and so on. Then there's like the monthly goals, which I do like once a week when I set 3 focus areas that I want to focus on in order to define success. Like, hey, this month we're actually focusing on content, skills, and clients, for example. And there's this other add task command, which again is very simple. It quickly captures a task that I need to add, puts it in the document. If it's a small task, you don't need to put it anywhere else. But if it's a bigger task, it can push it into your CRM, or it can push it into your calendar even. Then you can delegate tasks, like, hey, let's say that something is a little bit too complicated, or like, I don't know, maybe this is just not the right task for you. You can delegate it to someone else on your team, either by switching it in the CRM or by even sending them an email or a message, depending on what tools you're actually hooking up to it. You can also do like a meeting prep. So let's say that, hey, you have a meeting with X person. It actually pulls in all the context and tells you, hey, what have you done for this particular project? What are you going to talk about today? You need to discuss certain things in this meeting. So it's actually very good to do meeting prep. And it actually does a plan and schedule. So you can dump here, you can either brain dump your thoughts into it, or you can like make a plan in another app. Maybe you make it in Claude Code in like a different area, and then you use this command to actually take that plan and turn it into a schedule, to actually schedule it inside of your CRM, so they're all in one place. Is that clear enough? I hope it is. If it's not, please leave a comment, or book a call, send me a message on all of these social medias that are linked in the description. I would love to hear from you and to improve this and get more feedback. Side note, this is Cosmo from the future. You can check here in the Git, you can see that it is a very simple project. It only has some commands here, which are basically Claude skills, which you can use as skills. So it's not too complicated. You get here all of the commands. It's telling you there is a quick start guide onto how to actually do it. You see, all you have to do is tell your ChatGPT to like clone this and install it. There's also a manual install if you're more technical. It's also telling you to connect the tools. Again, if you're technical, if not, you're gonna see in here, or maybe you already saw, depending on what I add this extra thing, to how to connect your Notion and add your Google Calendar. And it's saying here how it works. This is kind of like the important thing, the daily flow. I really like this daily flow where like in the morning, I do my morning brief where it pulls my calendars, my tasks, my email, and it makes today plan. Then, throughout the day, I can add tasks, delegate, prep for meetings. In the afternoon, I do a check-in to review progress and sometimes also like plan tomorrow. I like to plan tomorrow around like 4 or 5 p.m. while I still have an understanding, and I'm still able to be like, okay, cool. Hey, this is what I've done today. Actually, this is what I'm probably going to do today. And yeah, plan the day for tomorrow, one day in advance. It's also good. And there's the nightly cleanup, organize backlog and draft tomorrow's plan. Actually, so this is more than just a check-in. Maybe like it updates it even more. And in the next morning, it starts all over again with the morning brief. This is my personal daily flow. I don't always do it like this, but every morning I do the morning brief at least. And then I talk to her like a human. Sometimes this information is outdated because I don't do the nightly cleanup, and then it doesn't know exactly what I've done yesterday. So I tell her like, hey, no, I actually did this, this, and this, and then it remakes the plan. If you want to customize it, of course, you can personalize your EA profile. This is quite simple here. You can just tell Claude to do it, or you can go and modify the skills yourself if you're like you want to go into it. I usually don't. I just tell it what to do. Sometimes I'll go into my profile just to make sure, but more often than not, it's actually understanding me quite well. And that is about it. Let's get back to the video where I'm actually showing you this full tutorial on how to do it, how to implement it, and how to best use it to your ability. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe while you're here. I would really appreciate that. Let's check on this. In the meantime, yes, it's telling me that it needs my approval to accept this command. Again, I gave it approval and it's done. Look how fast it's been going. It's actually done. Can you believe that? Now, not only is it done, it's actually telling us like, hey, we need to restart Claude Code. So it's important to restart Claude Code in order for these commands to take effect. So we closed it and now we're going to open it back up. Oh shit, it wasn't closed. Actually, let's quit and then reopen. Sometimes it works without quitting, but for the intents and purposes of this application, we want to start up fresh just to make sure, just to make sure. So with a fresh instance of Claude Code, you can just type in /EA setup, and you can also see here like all of these commands have been added, all of these skills have been added to your Claude. So now you just type in /EA setup and it will be prompting you to personalize it. After it's vibing, we're vibing. Let me check your current EA profile first, and it's going to see, if it checks this document, it's going to see that this is the default template. So we're setting it up from scratch. First, let's get to know you. You can put a document. So you can either put a document about yourself if you have that document where, usually I really recommend you have one of these documents. I'm not going to show you mine, but I have like a full 16-page document with a bunch of information about myself. But if you don't have that document, you can say like, I don't have a document. For example, Now it is going to start asking you some questions. No problem, of course, no problem. So it's going to ask you some questions. What do you do? What is your role? What is your business? Blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to give some information about this and then we'll restart the video in order to show you how to actually build it from scratch. All right, so they asked me some questions like, hey, what do you do? What's my role? What's my business? I gave some information about me and my business, very shortly here. Then my working style, deep focus and spontaneous. Sometimes it's even giving me some examples to pick from since some people may not know necessarily their working style. What tends to derail you or drain my energy? What should I watch out for? I don't really like doing things that I don't like doing, like that usually derails me, and I need to recharge my energy after that because I have ADHD. So I put a lot of focus into that, and then I need to recharge. Great thing that now it knows, so it doesn't just put some back-to-back heavy work sessions when my brain cannot operate like that. Then, okay, how do you like to talk to her? To her, yeah, short and direct. That's perfect. That's what I want. What's my current main priority or main goal? Well, I want to make content and post it. That's basically my main priority for right now. And anything else that I should know? No, all good. So you see, it is very simple to set up even if you don't have a document. Now, if you do have a document, it is much better to just give her the document so it can take all of that information from you. And it has a lot more context. The next step, if you want or if you don't want, it is actually to connect your tools. So there are different types of tools, like for example, a task manager and project. So I have Notion. I'm going to say check the Notion MCP connection and find the automate agency. Sorry, it's probably something like AI agency page with all the databases in there, something like that. I don't remember even what the page is called, but it's something like the AI agency page. And I have Notion, so I just simply, in plain words, I told her to check the Notion MCP. If you don't know what a Notion MCP is, you go to customize and then connectors, and then for connectors you basically connect Notion, for example, in order to have the MCPs, Notion, Google Calendar, if you want emailing and all of that stuff. It's there, super simple to access. You see, it's not that complicated. Great, it found my Automate Lab AI agency page. Now it's fetching the databases. So it found the databases. Great. What calendar do I use? Google Calendar. Check the connection. Great. Now it's using Google Calendar and it's checking the connections. Not that complicated. Okay, great. It actually connected with the calendar with my primary email address, which I'll probably blur out. Or if I don't, well, email me some nice stuff. Don't spam me. Now it's asking me if I keep notes, if I have some type of journal or daily reflections or a knowledge database. Basically, this is a knowledge database. And I say, I have an Obsidian vault. Can you connect to it? Something like that. I don't even know why I'm typing. I actually have this tool that I can just speak into, but I guess I'm doing it to show you how simple it is actually. Yeah. So great. Now it actually connected with my Obsidian vault. Absolutely amazing. So yes, all good. Anything else? Email. What email do I use? Google. That's what that's actually what I use, but I don't. Okay, let me actually. I don't want you to connect with my email actually. Great. See, so much faster. Yeah, I don't want you to connect with my email, but you get the idea. If you want, you can connect with Google or like something else or whatever. So that actually means that the tools are connected. Now it's reading and writing this EA profile so that it has the profile for the EA. All you have to do is press allow in order to allow these changes to be made. So everything that we just talked about is stored inside of your executive assistant profile, and now it is done. Basically telling you what it connected and ready to go. You want to try your EA morning brief. This is probably the most important command, or EA just to talk to her. If you don't know what you can do, you can basically press /EA. So you can basically press /EA dash, and it's showing you all of these executive assistant commands, and they're pretty self-explanatory, right? Help, meeting prep, monthly goals, delegate, add tasks, set up, weekly plan, weekly retro. But the most important thing right now is actually the morning brief. So we're going to just click morning brief to start my day. And now we're going to see how it's discombobulating and mastering and doing whatever else it's doing in order to pull everything together and prepare the morning brief for you. Check, check, check. So after about a minute of thinking and discombobulating and check, check, check. So after about a minute of thinking, it read the files, it used the tools, and came up with a morning brief. It's interesting you picked these. Can you pull the rest of the tasks from Notion that are overdue and the ones that are due today and tell me why you actually picked the ones from above instead of those? I'm just really curious. Check, check, check. Now, after a minute of thinking and discombobulating, it went and read the documents. It used the tools in order to check yesterday's daily notes and, all of these other tasks. Check, check, check. Now, after a minute of discombobulating and thinking and now, after a minute of thinking, it went and read all the files, got the task from Notion, and used the tools in order. Check, check, check. Now, after about a minute of thinking and reading the files, getting the task from Notion and so on, it actually came with a morning brief, like, good morning, Cosmo. Here's what we got. Today is Friday, March 27th. We have the context from yesterday, which again is super important. We have my calendar in order to understand, hey, what things do I have to do today? And we have the top 3 priorities that it actually got for me. Now, the interesting thing is that it basically put create content and post content as my number 1 goal, because yesterday I posted too late, and today this is like the deep thinking block. I told her that I like to work in about like a deep 3-hour block. So it put all of this content in here. Now, I actually don't have a task that says create and post content, but I asked her actually, I went here, I'm like, it's interesting you pick these. Like, can you tell me like why did you pick these? And it pulled all of these tasks and it basically showed me that, about half of them are about content, right? So based on this, it actually made here, like it's telling me that, hey, there's not a single Notion task about this, but half of them have the same theme. So it grouped them together in order to tell me like, bro, your main task is content. I said that my priority is to make and post content. Look at this. My goal is to make content and post it. So today, this needs to be the output, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. And it's amazing how aligned this is and how much it's helping me in order to cut through the BS. And it's even telling me like, hey, these other things like, LinkedIn outreach is like, this is a grind task, like morning brief guide, like that's deep work, that's like not, or it's creative energy, but it's product building, not creation output. So again, it's understanding me and it's thinking for me, because it's using the model Opus 4.6. So don't use Sonnet for this. It's actually good to use the better model Opus. And it's telling me all of these things. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to show you the power of how well this is helping me manage my energy, instead of me basically going through the task list and seeing like, oh yeah, well, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this. It's doing this for me, telling like, bro, it said content, okay, content. So now all I have to do is basically tell her, okay, great, what's the final plan and what are we adding to the calendar? Now it's telling me, okay, what is the actual final plan and what are they adding to the calendar? So there's 3 tasks here that they're going to add to the calendar. From 11 to 1, they're going to do this, content creation, and so on and so forth. So now I tell her, yes, add to calendar. And now it's adding them to the calendar. As you can see, my calendar is empty right now. But after I click allow, it's actually adding them to the calendar. So it added this event and this event, and I think there's another one, all 3 blocks. Why did it not add 3 blocks? Why it only added 2? Oh, it also added the 3rd one. I just needed to refresh the page. As you can see, this is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, I had to do some other things today that I'm not going to do, but no, it's modifying the today's context. Yeah, so actually I told her that, oh, I forgot that I have an accountant appointment, so we need to update the tasks. So now it's moving the tasks back. As you can see, I'm just allowing them to move the tasks. I can click allow all, but it's the same thing anyway. And now it also moved them back, so I can also talk to her, and that is the beauty of this, that in case I want to do something, oh my god, it's moving them, and so on and so forth. So there is so much opportunity with this to talk like an actual person, and there is a lot of things. For example, I can say like, oh, let me actually just, okay, I actually forgot that I already sent the message to the helping hand. So I already followed up on that email to the helping hands client. Please note that and mark it as done. Boom. So I just spoke in plain language. I hit the record button. I have a tool. I'm not gonna show it. Actually, I can probably show it to you. It's called Handy. It's you don't see the top, but anyway, is this thing at the top? It is called Handy, and it is free. Actually, now updating properties, allow. I can actually click allow all for all of them, but anyway. So it's updating the property and I can speak to them in natural language. I can speak with them about anything and anyhow. And now it's updating all of these documents. It's updating the Notion and it's doing a lot of other cool things with my executive assistant. It's like talking to a person. I'm telling her that, oh, cool, like I forgot to do this, I forgot to do this, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's all for today. If you have any questions, don't forget to drop them in the comments. And while you're still there, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and do all of that good stuff. This is actually the first video that I'm posting on this channel, so I would really appreciate your support. And I would also appreciate your support by giving it a star on GitHub, since this is also the first project that I've posted on GitHub in a very, 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 very long time. I actually made an account just for this because I'm not a developer. I don't know if you know, but I am not a developer. I have a developer background, but I'm not a developer. And if you need any more information from this, you know, the README file is pretty self-explanatory. You can talk to her like a human, you know, it says here all of this good stuff. And there is also an update and uninstall feature. So, you know, it updates the skills to the latest versions and it does the uninstall. Now, very simple. If you want, you can just talk to your agent through here and tell her like, hey man, I actually want to uninstall this. And if you are smart and you're actually using VS Code, which is better tool, I would say, than just using the Claude app. If you are using VS Code, you can actually have like multiple different sections. So for example, I have one just for morning briefs. I have one where I'm talking to my EA for like other things. So this is like a little bit more advanced feature that you guys are using, but you don't have to. As long as you're new, you can just use the Claude app, since that's simple. And let me know how it goes. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.